Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on your time differences, and welcome to episode 7 of Silencing the Voice. Oh my God, I cannot really imagine it's the seventh episode. We are so glad to be here live and direct, and we appreciate you for being there all the time. I mean, we are here because you are there, and believe me, we are all here to learn together. Today, I have my able co host, Coach Monica, as usual, all the way from Belgium. Coach Monica, how are you doing? Please, can you just share with us how Belgium is faring at the moment?
Good evening, Coach. Good evening, everyone. Our viewers out there. Thank you for tuning in. I'm good. Belgium is also doing fine. The weather not too cold, but okay. We are doing good. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Coach. I'm always just so happy to be with you. And we have our fifth powerful guest speaker, Mr. Jules Fonba, all the way from Cameroon. He is an author and a researcher. I mean, I'm not going to tell everything about him, but I really want him to tell us a little bit more about himself. Mr. Jules Fonba, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Please just tell our audience who you are, where you are from, and what you do.
Yeah, Christy, it's a pleasure being on your platform tonight, really. I've been longing and longing, then finally it has come, really. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So I also pick your co-host, Monique. It's a pleasure meeting you too, Mom. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So finally it's the day. I'm based in Cameroon. Yeah, my name is Jules Fonba. I'm doing into writing, creative writing, and also researching. You understand? So apart from that, I do also so many minor things, but the major things that I really hold at heart doing is creative writing and research. So something that we are going to break down today in one of it. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Creative writing and
Mhm.
research. And if I remember well, you've been able to write between 12 to 14 books. Oh my God. That's just more than amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you've done just one. I'm like, oh my God, how can you do this? Oh, I'm your number one fan, please. I really, really appreciate you again for coming out here. So, to our audience today, we are going to
Thank you.
talk about the power of words. I mean, words have their meanings and they can affect us negatively or positively depending on how we use them. Have we ever thought about that? They can affect us or impact our lives and the lives of others. Do we always think about the way we use them in life or not? And we're going to discuss about scenarios or situations where they can actually affect us intentionally or unintentionally and how we can go about this. And definitely, I'm going to throw the ball again to our guest of today, who is so rich in this domain. But before we drive there, I want to encourage our viewers. Please, you are definitely welcome again as we move ahead. Do put in your comments and questions whenever they come up. We are here, as I said in the beginning, to share our ideas and we learn and grow together. So, Mr. Jules Fonbar, I really want to ask this question. What were your motivations to becoming an author and researcher?
Yeah. Christy, I can really say I did not choose it really. It chose me. You understand? I know from the beginning I did literature in school. I did history, all the light. So particularly literature because I did literature right to the level of high school. But seeing me like a writer, I did not really like figure it out. So it just came up one day. I just realized that I had a big love for words, writing story, writing things, trying to understand nature and how things were functioning. Then I also understood I had a very high capacity for creativity. You understand? I could like frame a story, build it up, do certain things. So at the end of the day, it's so boiled down that I had to start writing things down. So my beginning was not really all that easy, you understand, because I started from nothing. I did no formation. I did no schooling on how to write. So I had to start everything from square one, learning step by step, step by step. So really, after 6, 7, 8 years today, I can really say it was not an error, really.
Mm.
It was not an error. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Because
an
it has
interesting
expanded
journey.
to so many things.
Wow. That's amazing. A very interesting journey. It's like from nothing to something, as they always say it. And if I understood what you said, there was a point in time where you could discover truly who you are. You could identify the deep talents and potentials within you. And, it came through a pain, writing your ideas, putting out what the world has to hear or the message you want to share out to the world. That's amazing. And I remember very well, there is nothing great as identifying your purpose or clearly outlining your passion. That one thing you can do 24 on 7. That's just too amazing. Coach Monica, I'm sure there's definitely something you want to add as well into this.
Thank you, Julius. I just wanted to say something, not much, but he said something that he didn't really plan writing a book, and it just started. At times when what we plan, we don't plan doing, and we just do it. It turns out becoming good and something very good. I remember myself. I never planned to write a book, and I just started, and it came out good, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Julius, for sharing your story with us.
Wow. I can actually relate to that as well. And if I may ask as well, sorry, we always have so much so much questions. Oh, sorry everyone. I just have to appreciate those who are with us watching at the moment. Oh my goodness. Mrs. Divine Favor. Oh my god. We are so blessed to have you. We are blessed to have you. Mr. Julius Kimby, thank you for always being there. Thank you so much for being there. We are so happy you're with us at this moment. So, Mr. Jules Fonber, how can we really describe
Yeah.
this topic? We talked about the power of words and how these words can affect or impact the life of an individual. It can be you, it can be me. I mean, how can we actually describe this?
Yeah. If I'm getting you very well, Christy, this thing like this, when we talk about words, you see, words is like I used to call words to be something like energies. You understand? Words we can like great words to be like energies. You understand what I'm saying? And
Mm.
each word that comes out from our mouth and the way we use it goes with the energy that is being concocted for it. You understand what I'm saying? So today, if we are talking about voices of people being lowered down, now we are referring to cases whereby this energy are being used to make people feel mean. These energies are being used to make people feel downgraded. These energies are being used to make people lost maybe their destiny or their way forward. You understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about words, words first of all come from the mind, the thoughts in the mind. Then from the mind, now you pronounce it out. And when you pronounce words out, it goes what? It goes and meet the person to whom you're referring to. And when it meets that person, it enter into that person's body and stays in the heart or in the soul. You understand what I'm saying? And the energy with which you drove those words automatically start having effect into that person's spirit or soul. You understand? At that
Yeah.
moment, it becomes what we call words create atmosphere. Are you getting
Wow.
what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. We're getting you clearly. We're getting you clearly, very clearly.
I think the connection.
Yeah, the connection is a little bit, but just if I can add to what Mr. Jules was trying to say, the words that had been spoken, they have so much energy. And when these energies, if they had been played upon either negatively or positively, they affect our thoughts. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
if our thought patterns have been affected, our actions and the way we evaluate ourselves and evaluate others, it goes in line,
Yeah.
intentionally or unintentionally. Oh, we're glad to have you back. Please, you can go on.
Yeah. So as I was explaining, like when what we're talking about the power of word, it is at three levels. Level one, thinking about the word. Level two, releasing the word. Level three, reaction of the word. And level four, if I can add, is the atmosphere that it creates for the person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And
Mm.
we have to tie this to our topic, like the voices, silencing those voices. We are talking about those discouraging voices in the form of words that can actually cause one to feel you're not worthy enough, or you are not capable, or you are actually up to nothing. Those voices that actually discourage you from moving ahead in life or really trying to identify your purpose of existence. So we can actually see the
Yeah.
relation in this sense. And from what you
Yeah.
said, our words actually, they are like confirmation to the world of how we see ourselves, others, or even how we can evaluate our lives. So
Yeah.
we're so connected to our thoughts. For us to
Yeah.
place ourselves into the places we want to be in the nearest future, we have to be careful of the kind of words we choose. We
Yeah.
have to be very careful of what
Yeah.
we can speak out. There's also something we're being told about the law of attraction, that what you say definitely comes to you. You know, what you say, what you speak definitely follows. So we have to be careful. Coach Monica, I roll the ball to you about this topic.
Wow, I the internet connection did not really actually get let me get the three levels. I only got that thinking about the levels of words. Thinking about the words. The second
Mm.
one, Mr. Jules, can you please help me with it? Yeah, because I'm learning. I
Yeah.
want to get those two. Then
I brought it down at I think four levels. The first, it's in the mind first. You think about it in the mind.
yeah.
Secondly, the mouth releases it. Third, it goes to the person and settles in the person's heart or soul. Fourthly, it creates an atmosphere.
Wow.
Mm.
Coach Christy, I just learned something. It creates an atmosphere. I'm going to keep these four levels because this is power. You know, words are power, and they are the word of God
Yeah.
said they are life.
Mm.
They can kill, they
Yeah.
can make, they can build, they can destroy.
Yeah.
So really, we
Yeah.
need to be careful
Yeah.
of what we say to people and what we think, because if we are thinking, it affects our words.
Mm.
Mm.
Because when you say you think
Mm.
the words, you release it, and it settles, and what settles in determines the atmosphere that you're going to have. Just like a
Mm.
child,
Mm.
if you start showering your child like you are great, you are intelligent, you can
Mm.
do it, that word coming out from the mouth of the parent, it's the child is digesting it, it's inside, and you see that child, whatever the child wants to speak or say, and the child will be always talking same positive things, and it gives that child a safe atmosphere, and produces a powerful positive energy. That's how I'm relating. I'm trying to use your levels now to, like, it's really powerful. Thank you so much. Our words are
Yeah.
really powerful. They are energy
Yeah.
itself. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mr. Jules, for this
Yeah.
yeah, they're powerful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And this,
At times people. Let me give again another little bit of explanation concerning words. If you look cordially in this world, practically everything goes around or surface around words. Everything. When your husband first met you, it was words that he used, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
went to school for admission, your father first spoke with the principal or the headmaster, it was words. Everything is words.
Yeah.
When God decided to make this world, he
Words.
said, let there be light.
Mm.
You understand?
Yes.
And he created an atmosphere, the atmosphere in which you and I are living in today.
Yes. Wow. Powerful illustration. That's true.
We
Yeah,
can, I cannot even defile that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
explanation
yeah,
because we are all blessed. You know, the power of the tongue. We are all blessed with
yeah,
it, and we have to
yeah,
choose our words wisely.
yeah,
They say when you choose it wisely and positively, we create the reality that is good for us. So what you wish and what you want to say, it must be in line with the words that you align yourself with.
yeah.
So, Mr. Jules Fonbar, this takes us to our third question. Our third question, can you describe a few examples or cases, scenarios about this our topic of today, how they can
Yeah,
affect.
yeah. As we're discussing today, Chrissy, I decided to resume everything to three. You understand? Things that we
Yeah.
directly connect with us in our day-to-day life. You understand? I brought
I think we're out of
getting me?
connection. Now we can get you.
Are you getting me?
Yes, we can get you now.
Are you getting me, Christy?
Yes, yes. We can get you. We can get you. We can get
Are you
you.
guys getting me?
You back
Yes.
now. We can get it now.
So if
All
I
right.
may add, yeah, thank you. You can go ahead.
Yeah. As I was just explaining, I said I resumed everything into three. You understand? To make it
Yeah.
more comprehensive to everyone. You understand? Make it
Yeah.
comprehensive to everyone. That's I brought it down at the level of the family. I brought it down to the level of education, schooling, academics. Then I also brought it down to the level of the society. You understand the society in which we live in, but with specifications, specifications on the domains whereby gatherings are very concerned. You understand? Because if people do not gather, or if people are not in a place, it will be very difficult to have cases whereby voices are being lowered or people are being brought down. So we must be concentrated on particular areas where people are there and people have particular affiliations. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So now let's begin with the family. You understand? With the family, it is divided within the family circle. I divided it into two: the extended and the immediate family. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. With the extended family, you see, there are always cases whereby, words come out, and words that come out at times goes with like competition. They create a little bit of competition. Let's say this home or this house, you understand, or this person or this uncle or this, you understand. He always thinks that means there's always some sort of constrict kind of negative energy that goes within certain family members, not supporting who they are, how they are. You understand? In as much as it can also be in a reverse form. Are you guys getting what I'm trying to explain here?
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Very
see?
well.
Yeah. So at this level, you will understand because in a family whereby we have 7 brothers, the 7 brothers are married, and the 7 brothers each has maybe eight, or let me just say three children. You will see one home where the children are excelling very much. The other home, the other children are like average. Some other homes, some children are so excellent. There's always that misregard when those people they made. You see, there's always those words that come out. either from the parents or from the children, or either copy from the parents to the children that the children use within their cousins or something like that. That's extended family kind of issues.
Yeah.
That's very true. I actually followed it
Are you
very
guys getting
well.
what I'm trying to explain?
Yes,
Yes, we
we
can.
are getting you clearly. We're getting you clearly, Mr. Jules Fonbein. That's very true about, families and large families where there exist all these differences. It actually it easily erupts. It easily erupts, especially when there are some differences in levels and how, it can be at the level of the children, and even at the level of, the parents or husband, wives. It actually occurs so easily. Coach Monica, I don't know what you think about this as well.
Yeah, it's really true what he's saying and what you just said. It creates when, because everybody they have a different mindset. The brothers, I'm just going with with this example. The brothers they came up from the same family, which is right, but you don't know the wives, the family background where they are coming from and
Hmm.
their upbringing. So if
Hmm.
it doesn't suit with that, if the one of the wife maybe coming from, for example, coming from a less positive or cooperative family now comes in, if our strength is stronger than the man's, or it might influence that and passing all negative energy to the children. That's how you see, it can be vice versa. That's how you see jealousy, you see
Hmm.
backbiting, you
Hmm.
see different mileys, you see all sorts of things that are not supposed to be. And those are words, because those thoughts and those things, it comes out as words, and it goes a long way in the lives of our children, of the family. It goes a long way.
That
Yeah.
is that is that is really true. And when it sinks down, it sinks down. It sinks
Yeah.
down. It starts from there. It stays in the memory lane until the end, and the
Yeah.
children can easily grow up with that
Up with it.
same,
Yeah.
knowledge and experiences they received. They received. So, Mr. Jules Thornberg, nice to have you back. We were just elaborating a little bit about the family aspect, and the scenarios about the differences that can happen in, extended or large families where children or the parents themselves are of different levels, and it's really true. So are now talking about, let's talk about like, educational levels. If you want to look at educational levels, how can these differences, it might be the words that we use sometimes, the word illiterate. Sometimes this is something I've been struggling with personally, because I don't it's really difficult for me to really tell someone like you are an illiterate, because I know that everyone has something valuable in
Yeah.
them, maybe because of life experiences. Things may have happened that they didn't have the same opportunity like others. So no matter how life may have, led you through, there's just something so valuable. But with the differences, because of school or what you may have been taught, you can express yourself differently, and maybe you feel more comfortable to mingle with people who can reason like you or look at things like you. Those small minute things, and you may unintentionally maybe talking at one point in time and use some words that can make the other person feel really bad, or because he or she is unable to get the experience that you've had. It really like kind of it lowers the self-esteem. I don't know what Coach Monica thinks about this.
Coach Christy, the educational aspect is very broad. Because if we want to talk about it, it's going to take a lot. It's really broad, it depending on how we're going to see it. But in that word, illiterate you just use, you can see an educated illiterate. Sorry to say,
Yeah, yeah.
with experience, what I've seen, there are some people that you see they're educated, fine. They're really gone high level, they've attained high level of education, But the way they speak or their character, you would ask yourself, is this person an educated person or so? And when you see a person that really is less educated or didn't even attend those high level of education, the words they use, their action, their character, it gives this positive energy, and you ask yourself, this is more of a literate than the person that went to school. So let me don't just take. I don't know what Mr. Jules Fomba would say. We just elaborating on what you said. We elaborated a little bit about the external family, how yeah, depending on the background of both couples, how it could affect the children and everything. So Coach Christy also elaborated. We now moved on to the educational aspect, but we're going to let you talk. We're going to pause for now and let you talk.
Well, I'm really sorry. At times we really battle with connection, all this problem around down here in the country. So
It's fine.
just take it that way. Yeah, I just pray if I can really do my work till the end. Really, it's not easy. You see, yeah. So at the level of education, you see, there's always still that spirit. You see, always that spirit. Let me just use a word that is very common today. At the level of education, you will always find some people who cannot withstand the presence of other people, other students. You see, yeah, they cannot withstand. You see, that's why you see maybe either you start hearing words. You see, they will start quarreling. You see somebody you are trying to do something. There's always somebody who's just behind, just throwing words at you, just making you feel inferior, always making you feel low. You understand? Then we also have cases at the level of education that we have bullies. You see, yeah, we have bullies. You see, they will always keep on pestering a child. I myself, when I was still a boy, a baby, I think around 7 or 8 years in my former quarter where I was, my mom had to go and intervene in a matter of that caliber. Because each time when they were playing with other children, there was always this one guy. When I want to do anything, he's always complaining. When I try to do something, he always come and push me off. It was like he was not resisting my presence. I don't know why. I couldn't understand. Fortunately for me, my mom was very vigilant. And she got up one day and tied her wrapper and said, enough is enough. Man, when I want to kill me, picking, did I bought that thing for you?
Yeah, that's really a very concrete example, Mr. Jules. That is just
You understand?
every parent. Yeah.
My mom did not go to his parents. My mom went directly to him. He threw him in one corner and gave serious beating and slaps. That next time you touch my son or you make my son feel unhappy or inferior again, I will do away with you. Till that day, the whole matter ended. You understand? So those things, they manifest in different forms. Now, at the level of education, the way you will see it at the level of university is totally different. Because at the level of university, at times, it becomes like some sort of lobbying. Some groups, they match up like groups fighting you. Or maybe you can see one person who has the capacity. One person, there's people who are so malicious in a way that they can convince a whole hall of people to be against. Either they use true money or their position or something just to make you look mean. You see, that means they don't just, at times they just feel bad by your nature that God created you. At times they just feel bad by the way you are so sociable. They don't just like the way you smile, you are. I mean, in short, let me just use this simple. They don't like your swag. You see, that means all this type of things. They do everything possible to make you feel down. You understand? So,
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying? So, these things that are very, very practical, very, very, very practical, very, very practical. You see, that's why parent today, I always watch my children very well, where they play, how they play, the kind of spirit they come back from the playing ground, all the life. It's very important. It's very, very important. Really, it's very, very important. You see, it's
Thank
very,
you
very
so
important.
much.
So, I did, yeah, yeah, that's
Thank
that.
you very much, Mr. Jules
Then,
Fomba. Let me just say hello
mm,
to those who are with us live. We have Dr. Deborah Funmi K. Thank you so much, woman of God, for being with us. And Mrs. Adamu Salam says hello. Dr. Deborah again says, great message. Very true. Education is different from wisdom. That's all. That's a huge one. Education is different from wisdom. And coming back to what Mr. Jules Fomba was saying, that is perfectly true. We are all having that great, capacity of wisdom embedded in us. Sometimes we might be educated, but we don't know how to make use of that resource deep within us until we are able to realize. And sometimes people use it in the wrong way, like you rightly said. We can use it in the wrong way, but when we are able to identify that purpose and how to use it the way that God wants us to use it, you know it makes life easier for us all. So please, you can go ahead with the explanation you were giving. Just go ahead, please.
yeah, yeah. I think the last stage of that question was the societal milieu. The societal milieu where I reduce it to Njangi houses. You understand? I reduce it to Njangi houses, and in short, you guys can just know what's happening. You women now. Hmm? You see,
Okay.
you women, you can bear grudges from now to the next year. You understand? You see, that
Yeah.
competitive spirit. You see, that competition spirit. And she will come like she's well dressed. She's like she's full of herself. All those type of things. You see, she's all those things at the level. You see, if I brought down the Njangi at the Njangi levels, because those are the kind of place that it's very rampant. You understand? You see, because you will see some people because they don't have certain qualities. They don't stand some people having the qualities, and they will do certain things to make you feel inferior. Maybe when you are in the gathering, the Njangi meeting, when this person brings up an idea or try to bring up a suggestion, just because it's that person and you have maybe a mean regard or you feel jealous or kind of spirit for that person's idea and solution is no matter. You make the person, you do it openly in such a way that I beg you don't quiet or just keep now. You see, so there's always that tendency for the person to be feeling a type. You see, make the person feel, or the group of persons, if it's a group of persons, they gang up. You understand? At times you really
Yeah.
ask yourself, but what is happening? You don't understand. You say, this person, I don't know this person. We've never met. We are doing Jangi. I met this person here. But how come the person is behaving as if we've met in another life or something of that caliber? You understand? So
Yeah.
those are things that are very, very common in such milieu, in the societal milieus. You understand? You see?
Yeah.
You see, so, and there's always this thing like some people like having some status in life, and maybe they're in a certain milieu in their mind, so much that they are so dark in their mind, and they see maybe somebody aspiring and really working hard for, and who want that person also to benefit certain privileges that the person is having, or he or she is having now. You understand? You start creating what we call traps. You start creating tendency of making the person feel mean, discussing the person and saying certain things. You can say a word to a person and it means 100 or 1,000, and we affect that person if the person is emotionally unstable. Yeah,
Very true.
that's why
Very
you will
true.
notice in some cases when some people go in something and they're trying to do something, then there's a group of person or a person always like trying to. At that moment, the person will just say, I think, let's just leave it, allow the person. The person will just say, okay, let the person just go ahead. Just to avoid, some kind of confrontation, like any
Thanks.
kind of thing. Say, okay. To cut the matter short, okay. You understand what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
the society. That's the way it is, you see. So that's that domain, just to prove it, because if I have to develop it, it's going to be so large.
That's very true. I mean, you've really expatiated on very critical normal life experiences talking about the society, the sense of belonging, your class. It is actually something that exists. It exists, and we have to be able to bridge that gap. I think one thing is that one thing that lacks in this whole process is the trust and transparency. Mr. Jules, you mentioned a very critical and vital one that happens every day. The fear of someone getting into your space. We don't know why God made us this way. Some people can have the same ideas and talents, but deep within it, there can be an iota of difference hidden. I don't know. Even in a set of twins, there should be something that is able to differentiate who is who. So it actually, it doesn't mean that in the same space, if people are looking so similar or familiar, there's no difference among them. But until we get to that level of accepting that diversity, though in the face or in our own natural eyes, we look at it as if it's all familiar. When we get to that stage of that one step of crossing that bridge, then we are able to embrace life as it is. Coach Monica, I'm sure there's so much verse with you waiting, so just spill it out.
Oh wow. I don't know. It just this topic is so powerful
Yeah.
that what was just going on in my mind as I was listening to both of you. I was thinking, the thought came into me that words can be non-verbal as well,
Mm.
and so at times we don't really need to speak to pass a message across. Because what Mr. Jules Fumba was saying, that we
It's
are
the same
thinking
thing.
is
It's the same
so,
thing.
it's the same thing,
It's
but
just that
so
Juice is the artistic name.
I have
Okay.
to say the name. Don't mind me. Okay. So don't mind me when I use Julius or when I use Jules. Okay. So I was
Yeah.
trying to say that the non-verbal aspect is also powerful, because sometimes people, especially in that society,
Mm.
if you might not say a word, but your person is a powerful message to someone. Maybe the way you look at the person, your body posture, it goes far, a long way. But I'm not going to say much because we're running out of time. All we're all trying to say, and all I've got from Mr. Jules, that words are powerful. We need to watch the way we use it on our children. We need to be careful when our children come home, what they heard outside. We need to delete them if they are not positive, or they are not. We need to wash it out of from their memory, or maybe someone says something. That's why it's important we communicate with our children, because he mentioned that when his children comes in, he try to know what they say, or those. It's very, very important. And Mr. Joes, thank you so much once again for joining, for really coming to our show. We really appreciate you, and all our viewers out there. Thank you, Mr. Oge Achu. Thank you for joining in. And I have my next question, Mr. Joes and Joel. In in your journey to success, have you ever experienced external discouragement, voices that can discourage you from those voices? Can be form of words, or just like I said, body language that could get you troubled, that could trouble you and get you to the point that you think of giving up. Have you ever experienced such through your journey to success? Any external voices that make you feel discouraged, make you feel like you want to give up?
Well, Coach Monica, that's a very big question. You see, what they used to tell when I started, they would say, "But excuse me, do people even read in Africa?" They would say that you're into a business that nobody is even Africans are not even into the business. Like, how comes you're into? You understand? So that's
Yeah.
where those words started. Yeah, you understand?
Mm.
He said, "But you hear someone say, but someone I don't even like reading. How comes you sit and you are into something that is not even common? You should have gone maybe to Europe or somewhere like that where people like concentrate themselves to reading. But I mean, how? Some will come and say, Are you a professor in a school that maybe when you write, you can go and force your children and say that if you don't buy, you will block like this? How do you know? All kinds of words came up. You understand? All kinds of words came up, but there's just something. You understand, Chrissy and Coach Monica? A calling is a calling. When God
Yeah.
calls you for something, nobody, no matter what, can bring you down.
Yeah.
True.
I
Wow.
can do other things. I do other things, but creative writing is me, and I work on it every day. I started from zero. I started from nothing. I did not even attend any writing school. I started studying everything, everything. When I wanted something, I go and study it. So do you know what I decided at one moment when I saw the pressure was too much? I realized that with the criticism and the words that were coming in around, nobody would be ready to help me. I took a decision and I pray and I asked God, give me the power. I took a decision that if I wanted to build a website and I did not know how to build a website, I go and study how to do website building. I go and study website mastering, become a webmaster. I study it. It's going to take me for 2 weeks. I study, and I come back, I create my website. When I wanted to do anything, I invest time. If it's a knowledge I cannot, I go, I study it. I do research on it. If it's practical, I say, okay, let me keep my writing for a moment. I say, let me keep my writing for a moment. I go and I do the practical, I study it. If it's something that I need to continue my writing. So that's why today, if you look critically into all the covers of my book, I'm the one who designed my covers.
Wow.
Yeah. Putting my books on Amazon, I'm the one who do them. I went and studied how to put books on Amazon, everything. Covers, I went and did research. I downloaded notes, I read on how they do covers. Writing books, I went and studied and downloaded notes on how to certain things following world standards. Because writing a novel, there's standard and standard. There's African standard, there's world standard, there's European and all the like. After doing it, I have to go in. So everything I do, nobody taught me. I went and did the studies on my own.
Wow.
So nobody could actually stop me. Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody
That
could actually stop me.
you've got a lot of energy, Mr. Jules. I wish I can be like have that kind of energy to study, but that's very powerful. Thank you so much. There's something you said. A calling is a calling. What
Yeah.
you have is what you have. No, but they might try to bring you down, but as long as you're focused, they can't, their words wouldn't have, it might sometimes make you feel but you just keep pushing on. Because I remember when I was in my specialization studying for intensive care and emergency, I remember this particular nurse, she told me, Monica, you can never, she used the word, you can never become an intensive care nurse. You can. Oh, that word that day, I felt like, oh, I felt so bad. I felt
It created an
so,
atmosphere. It
oh,
nearly created an atmosphere in
I
you.
just, oh, I'm like, let this grand opera, let me just go, let me just, but that was just the moment. But afterwards, I stood myself. I said, God, you brought me here. I'm not going to let this negative word influence me and your purpose for me on earth. It's not going to make me give up. I still will pursue my study and I'm going to become that which she said I can't become, because she doesn't have the final say in my life, because God that created me, that have started the good work, He is capable, more than able to finish
Yeah.
it. So that was, those are the powerful words I had to tell myself, and I have to move on. So I felt like giving up. I wouldn't lie, but I thank God for grace. I didn't give up. So I could really, those words, the words we use, even when we have people under us, it might be students in our working places, it might be in our shop, the sales girls, the sales boys that's coming to learn work, our apprentice. We should mind the words we use on them, because those words can
Mm.
make them give up, can discourage them. And these are great people that God has ordained, that have given great destinies for them to impact their generations. But sometimes if you watch those that have given up, that does not really have that internal energy to go forward, they've given up in life.
Yeah.
That's why you see these junks in the street. You see this, a lot of people falling out from their vision. So words we use are very powerful. Coach Christy, I know you have something to say on this giving up, silencing the voice.
This topic is so interesting, despite the fact that we are almost running out of time. But we will definitely go through this. And what I'm going to add is, yes, I have been going through this, or I am coming from a family where my parents they did a lot of sacrifices. My father, in particularly of in particular of blessed memory. These are people that would sacrifice things that money can buy to make sure that their children are able to be what they are today. You will hear name callings, you will hear labelings. People would judge from the way they feel like judging. They
Mm-hmm.
would
Yeah.
define you. They will use words that you ask yourself. You're even tempted to say, why did God even let me come from this kind of a family?
Mm-hmm.
But I thank God for the grace, because growing up and the teachings that they also took us through, the explanations of why life is the way it is, it encouraged us to even work harder in life and not to
Yeah.
look from the outside, look at the things that your eyes see, but the inner core, what makes you a person. That was in fact the most important part of the education that we had from them, and that is what kept us going. So what I learned was to be an inspiration to another, because you might not know what the next person by you has been through or is going through in life. So instead of being a light shutter, have a lighter to light up another person's life, because there are so many who are just waiting for that one word to say, hey, get up from your slumber and keep doing what you are
Mm-hmm.
doing. But because of what the world is today, yes, even though we have destiny helpers, right? We still have
Yeah.
those people that will not even want you to think of being what you really aspire
Yeah.
of being. We encourage ourselves, we have to encourage others to keep doing what they want to do, despite what they face, and close their ears to anything
Mm-hmm.
that is discouraging.
Yeah.
What does Isaiah 60 says? Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the God rises upon you. It rises upon everyone, not to any
Mm-hmm.
specific person, but to
Everyone.
everyone created in the image of God.
Yeah.
We don't serve a selfish God, his blessings is to everybody. So we all
Everybody.
have the opportunity despite what life throws at us. So, Coach Monica, please.
Thank you so much, Coach Chrissy. That was powerful. Before we go on, I want to welcome and really acknowledge and appreciate our viewers. Mrs. Pardon me if I pronounce your surname wrongly. I'm so sorry. Dalien's Peace. Thank you so much. She said, so true words. So true. Words are so powerful. And she's trying to tell us that she has many testimonies or testimonies of how words impact on certain people she knows. And we also welcome and appreciate Pastor Anya Mike. He said great work, and we also appreciate Mr. Julius Kembi. He said very good. Thank you so much, our viewers, and those who are not seeing their comments. We know you are there. Thank you so much for watching. Mr. Jules, I have another question for you, please, and which is, what are some of the ways in which you can handle or manage the negative effects that those words can cause on an individual? Could you please help us? What are the tips or something? Yeah, how can they handle these negative words, the effect of these words it has on them?
Coach Monica, this question is very, very vast, you understand. But before I get into the question, I'll first of all like to say something before going to the question.
Okay.
We are talking about words, the usage of words. We have been talking and talking and talking. But I've not made mention of something spiritual or the spiritual level of words, the negativity of words into our lives. So I'll just make it brief. I won't want to go so deep in it. What I just wanted to say here is that when somebody who is possessed, spiritually possessed, uses words of that caliber, there's a high tendency for it to work rapidly in you as compared to somebody who is unpossessed. And there are some people who are possessed without knowing that they are possessed. Are you getting what I'm saying, Coach Monique?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some people who are possessed without knowing that they are possessed. There are some people who inhabited evil spirits that they do not really know. Some of them are like entities from family. Some of them are like altars, all those things. So when this kind of children or this kind of people or women or men get involved into games of bringing down people, it is 3 times dangerous as compared to when the person is not spiritually affected or evilly affected. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So much. You see, it's always very important to pray very much on our children. At times, you, the parent or the mother or the father, can have evil spirit within you possessed, but you don't know. You just say things to your children. You say things to their children. Tomorrow, after tomorrow, you see them start affecting the whole life of the whole family. Children, things start occurring. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why this topic we are developing today is very, very important, and also is very, very sensitive, because like I'm trying to say now, is something that most people do not know. You understand? That's why before saying something to somebody, or before building up in your mind that you want to bring somebody or you want to combat somebody because the person is like this, you need to be very careful.
Yeah.
You need to be very, very careful. You need to be very careful. So now I'm going now to answer the question, Coach Monique. We have what we call that question in particular. We have me to you. I will answer in 2 forms: me to you and it to me. Understand? When I say me to you simply means here without what is this a situation that they come to you naturally. You see, people don't like the way you are, the way you talk, the way you affect the milieu in which you are. You understand? So they start moving up all these type of things against you. Now, the other part of it, let me make it brief. It to me, some of the things that we suffer from, or maybe the main regard at times come from our parents, come from the milieu that we are. That is something that is haunting us today. You understand? You get what I'm saying? That is haunting us today. So, yeah. So now in situations of this caliber, at times you really need to know yourself, because to handle such matters, you need to first of all know who you are, because I believe somebody is already 20, 25, 30, 40, or 30 years. You already have to know certain realities concerning your person. For instance, where I am, I know certain realities concerning my person, which means if I enter certain milieu, there are certain things I will not do, because I know that if I do it, it will have this kind of impact. The impact might be different. You understand? There are some cases, so you need to understand very well, know who you are and how you are. There are some people that when they take 1 glass of alcohol, they will just collapse. There are some people they can drink even a whole company, they are couldn't find. So you need to understand. The moment you can understand already your cosmology, the kind of aura, they call it the aura that goes, it permits you to know the kind of way and how to handle things. That it even makes you to avert. Like, let me just explain again an example. If maybe you're in Njangi and they want to elect you to become maybe the treasurer, and you know already that the way you are, your charisma and all things, at times people do not like or certain thing, you always create some problem, not because you look for it, just because the way you are and your dynamism, avoid it. You understand, Coach Monique? You avoid it. That's already handling, that's already solving a problem. Forehand, you avoid it. It's very important. You avoid it. Then in other cases of this caliber, as like this, because some of us we're talking what have power, they have energies. If someone who is like possessed by a spirit, there are people who are possessed by the spirit of Lilith. I don't know if you ever heard of the demon that they call it. It's a domineering spirit that always want to dominate people, that always want to overcome people. You understand what? So when you have cases of that kind of, you also have to develop a spiritual life. You start praying. You ask God at times to give you the power to overcome, because there are certain humiliations, there are certain words that people throw to you. that you need. Only God can console you. Only
Yeah.
God can take you out from it. Are
Yeah.
you getting what I'm saying? Then
Yes.
this is just the yeah another aspect. Then some other aspect. You see, when you're already like in such a situation where you know words are like what you do at times you change environment if there's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
You change environment. If you were going to one jangi or one corner, or you know that your family or there's certain problem, at times, if there's a contribution or anything, you make yourself as limited as possible in that milieu. Because if you are not there physically in that milieu, the whole scenario won't function very well. So by the time you start limiting yourself and limiting certain people of that domain, as time unfolds, sooner or later that thing dies off. It goes away. Are you guys
Wow.
getting what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're
Yes, we
getting what you're saying.
thank you so much, Mr. Jones. Thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
So
Thank
those are
you.
some of the ways of handling.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, some of the
Yeah.
ways of handling. Those are some of the ways of handling. You see, there are so many ways, but at times the ways vary with where you are and the kind of work you do. Because if it's working milieu that you work, that is where you earn your daily bread. You know, you can only intervene, ask God. You pray. If you are somebody who does fasting, you pray and you fast and ask God, Father, I hand this matter to you. Solve this. There's some problem that I solve only through prayers. Because with my own power, I will not be able.
Yeah.
You understand? So, like question of that caliber, you see, because there are certain things that I would like to make.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Jules. I know the network is kind of interrupting, and but I'm just going to summarize few things you said. He's trying to tell us the spiritual aspect that what if where we are, that these words are affecting us, we try to avoid some of these places. If it means we need to relocate, we need to change environment, that we can change environment. I did that a certain time for my family's sake. We just moved, and moving of environment, if you can, it helps a lot, a lot. And he also said we need to know who we are. We need to know who we are, and also to be sensitive in the spirit, because when those words, possessive words, are coming, you don't really know. So you just need to be sensitive to know these words. It doesn't suit my person. It doesn't suit my children. You just rebuke it. I do that at work. Sometimes they just make some jokes, and I'm like, okay, this is not a joke. I like, that is not me. It's not me. I just reject it in my mind. So we just need to know when to avoid certain people, certain communities, certain groups, and just this. You know that you're scared of them, but you just to guide yourself and your life. So, Coach Christy, I don't know. I know you know have something to say about this.
Well, definitely, I will begin by the spiritual aspect, because I think that for me it's having more weight. Because we live in a world that powers and principalities of darkness are in existence, and only when we know how to adapt or live in that milieu, then we are able to forge ahead in life. So I normally usually say the spiritual aspect, your relationship with God should be what comes first. Put God first before any other thing, because there are certain life experiences that our faith and relationship with God keeps us going. They are just like challenges that we have to face through to go to the next step, and it's only by his grace and strength that we are able to go over that fence. And the other examples that you both have listed, they are also great ones. Sometimes you have to give a deaf ear. Sometimes you have to make a change, a necessary physical change, or maybe it can be a negative, the way, the behavior, or how you act. And what I'm going to add to this again is, you know, we always talk about self awareness, how we can improve that self awareness over the words that we use, maybe to describe ourselves or our lives. Sometimes we can be out of burnout, you're just tired, or maybe out of fear. You turn to want to use those negative words, Powerless words like I can't, you know, I won't, you know, I shouldn't have. And those are things that we can avoid them, because they only strip us of the ability, to manifest in life the way we want to live it. So it still boils down on, we are being blessed with so much wisdom and a mindset that we can use. And this is also related with the words that we speak out from our mouth. So next time that you may be tempted to use negative words, just regain that control and frame the word choices so that they have a much more positive impact in your world, in my world, or the world, on anyone that is around you. If you want to look at it critically, like, before you open your mouth to say something or to put out a complaint, it might be a complaint about you or someone. Just ask yourself, why am I about to say this? How will it add to? Because in life, we are supposed to add value to. If it's something that is going to reduce that value, then don't even say it. Or how will it serve you or serve your happiness? What is the satisfaction you're going to get from it? So if we ask all these kind of questions, then we are able to spill the words that should encourage not only us but everyone that we come in contact with. So Mr. Jules Fonba, I know you still have just so much to share with us and to share with our viewers, but the network, I can see, is not letting us to go through all of these details. I think it's a great idea to do a part two of this version,
Yeah.
because we have still so much to talk about it, but I can see we're running out of time. So Coach Monica, I would have just loved Mr. Jules Fonban to maybe say a word or two, but because of the network, he's out at the moment, and I'm sure he's still struggling to join. But he can be reached to through Facebook. If you can put his name out, just Jules Fonba, you can directly get to him if you have any more questions on this topic, because this guy is a researcher and he's just so versed about mindset and all these techniques and attitudes on how you can navigate yourself in situations or environments that are sometimes so difficult to get into. So thank you for coming again, Mr. Jules Fonbar. Um, we were just at the last part of it, just to ask how our viewers can reach you in if they have necessary questions. So we mentioned that they can get to you through Facebook, and I'm sure you're also on YouTube. Coach Monica, I'm sure, Mr. Jules, can you get us? Yeah, it's still a little bit poor at the moment. But Coach Monica, I think I'm going to give the floor to you at the moment, just to give us a word of prayer before we go. We are just like 5 minutes or 6 minutes late, but please, if you don't mind.
Okay, thank you, Coach Christy. Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather here. Thank you for our viewers. Thank you for the silencing the voice. Thank you for our guest speaker, Mr. Jules Fomba. Thank you so much. We pray, Lord, by your mercy, that this word we've heard today, I know it might not be for everybody, but that person which you used us to speak today, Papa, we thank you for the encouragement. We thank you for the upliftment. We thank you for the people that are still going to watch this video. And Lord, we ask that you touch them, you healed hearts, you hit their hearts, you touch them, you transform your children all over the world. In Jesus' name we've prayed.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so
Thank
much, Coach Monica, for this wonderful prayer. And just a
you.
word to our viewers again, God has a plan for everyone. And his plan is to prosper us also, no matter what you face in life, no matter what people might throw at you. Do not feel belittled, or do not feel as if you're not worth it. We are all created for a purpose. So just keep aiming to discover truly who you are and just keep being who you are. And our next session in December, we're going to have another guest and with a very interesting topic. But we're going to come back to these because believe me, we didn't throw out all what we had prepared under this topic, but we're going to come back again to share and add more knowledge to this. And to round it up, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for all the contributions. I don't know if we managed to say thank you to all who has been there. Oh, Mrs. Allen Over, we appreciate your presence and your support and your comments. So stay blessed and God bless you all. Bye for now.
Bye.